Good morning. I just wanted to hop on and record a quick video for you guys to kind of give an overview of the CMath or case study session 2, so that you have this as a reference for when you're actually going to implement it. We will have talked about it in class, but this is just an extra reminder to show you where everything is. So just as a reminder, this is what I'm talking about, the CMath 2 problem solving interview. Excuse me. So in this video, I will go over where to find everything, how to conduct an interview, and then the specifics of the actual interview that you will conduct. So in the course calendar, if you click into this, this is where you find the Excel file with all of the documents. Some of you are in there now. So for session 2, okay, this is where we're going to click in for all of the information for session 2. So this gives you all of the different items that I'm going to be talking about today. It connects you to the PowerPoint that we're about to discuss. And then the actual interviews themselves are right here. And the rest is just kind of like reminders of things that I'm going to say here. But these are reminders of those. So just as a general overview, let me click into this right here. So this is the PowerPoint that is referenced right here. Okay. The case study interviews are these right here. So the problem solving is where we are now. The getting to know you was really the Venn diagram. So you have done that. The problem solving interview is now, instead of just learning about what students like to do outside of school, we're actually zooming in kind of now on students' mathematical thinking. So we're practicing that teaching practice of asking good questions, allowing students to answer, and then making sense of what they understand mathematically. So that's the goal of this. It should only last about 10 to 15 minutes. So this isn't like a super long in-depth interview. And you will have a protocol to use that we will have gone over in class, but you'll need to choose which one you want. But once you make that choice, it will be obvious what to do, how to conduct the interview. So the way that we conduct these is with a decision tree. So everyone starts at the same place, and then you will move forward in a way that makes sense depending on what the child does. So if the child does not answer the question correctly, you go one way. If they do answer the question correctly, you go a different way, and you just follow the tree all the way, excuse me, all the way down. If the child finishes quickly, you can have some other things prepared, or you can go back and just ask some of the questions that weren't in your decision tree because they answered everything so quickly. So just be prepared for that. And you can also, there's number choices too. So if you want to go back and ask a more difficult question, you can do that as well. So that part is kind of up to you. Your decision tree is going to look something like this. This is for the addition, subtraction. The multiplication, division one is your other option, and it looks similar. It's just different problems, obviously. So you'll notice we're using the language of those CGI problem types we talked about in class a couple of weeks ago. So you're going to start with the join, change, unknown problem, which is on the sheet. I'm going to show you in just a minute. And then if they solve it, you go one way. If they don't solve it, you go the other way. Kinder students have the option of starting here just because it will be easier. And if you'll kind of have to make that determination based on how your student's doing. You can also always just start here just to see what they do. And if they don't solve it correctly, you're going to be here anyway. Okay, so that's your decision tree. I want to quickly go back and just show you here. So that was the addition subtraction decision tree. So I'm going to click in to the actual problem sequence here. So you're going to see the tree again. Okay, remember this is where kinder students can start, or you can start here. And then these are the actual problems. So again, we're starting with join, change, unknown, which is the first one here. So everything is in order. It should be pretty easy to follow, though you'll want to go through it beforehand just to make sure you have a good understanding. The problems here are using kind of medium level numbers. If you are in a higher grade level and you want to use addition, subtraction, you can go harder. Or if you're with like a kinder class, you can go easier. You can also adjust. So if you wanted to do a join, change, unknown using kind of the medium numbers and they solve it super fast, you can try with harder numbers just to see what happens. So totally up to you. And so each problem type is labeled here. So we started with join, change, unknown. Let's say they do solve it correctly, then you would go to the compare problem. which is going to be here. So I'm skipping this one because that's if they don't solve it, you go here. So you just need to kind of keep track. One tip I give is to maybe tear this first page off so that you can have it next to you while you're sorting through the problem types. Okay. So that's basically the decision tree that you're using. Okay, and as you're going, you're going to want to take notes on what the student is doing. So that's the protocol, that's the overview of what you're going to do there. So the second part of this, besides just the mechanics of the problem-solving interview, is how we begin a problem-solving interview, and then how we actually like kind of using soft skills make it more comfortable for the student. So these are just some tips. You can read through these on your own. The ones that I want to emphasize are the way you introduce it. So you want to make sure when you sit down, they're comfortable. You might have some, like you can see here in this picture, she has access to some manipulatives just right in front of her. So that she has them if she wants them, but she doesn't have to use them. She's got paper, markers, that kind of thing. So she can use whatever she wants to solve the problem. So you're emphasizing, I'm just trying to understand how you're thinking about these different problems. And you can solve it however you want to. I'm just going to sit and listen, right? So your role in this case is just to hear and record what the student is doing. You're not offering any, yes, that's correct. No, that's not correct. You're just running through the problems. Okay. So, oopsie, sorry. You can ask questions if you don't understand their process. So if they just, like, if you give them that first problem and they just say the answer really fast, then the question would be, can you explain to me how you solve that, right? If they do it in a very clear way, like they write down everything and they explain it, you can say, great, I see just how you solve that. Here's the next problem. So most will fall somewhere in between there, but don't be afraid to ask clarifying questions. What you want to stay away from is any judgment. So like, yes, that's right. No, that's not right. Because we really want just to understand their thinking. Then the last thing is to verbally read the questions. You don't want to have them printed out for students or show them the printed version. The whole idea is that they're listening to what you're saying, and then their job is just solving the problem. So you might have to read it again. Like if they say, can you read that again? It's fine to read the problem again, but you don't want to show it to them in written form. That just kind of conflates what we're finding in the interview. Okay, and the rest of these are just pointers you can read through. And then this is the last thing. I've talked about these a little bit already, but it should be no more than 20 minutes. Most of the time they take a lot less time than that. You'll want to make sure that you have gone through the problems yourself so that you know which direction you need to go on your decision tree, and you know kind of what you're looking for. And then you can print out the tasks. So if you need to change the context, you can. So if you have a kid that's like super, loves Pokemon or something like that, you can always change the context to fit that. So here in the problem solving interview for addition subtraction, this is Eric saving him money to buy a present. So maybe you change it to say the child's name is Joseph, right? So you say, oh, Joseph, pretend, or you're saving money to buy a present for your brother. You'd have to change that depending on what you learned about the student. Maybe they don't have a brother. And you say, you're saving to buy some Pokemon cards for your brother. The Pokemon cards cost $7 and you have $4 so far. How many more dollars do you need to buy the present? So you can see just that little tweaking might make it more relevant to the student. That's an option. You do not have to do that. If you're feeling nervous about just asking the questions, just stick to the protocol. That's totally fine. You should get similar information. Okay, so that's the basic overview. You will want to make sure also that you have additional problems ready just in case your student finishes very quickly. And you'll want to take notes about the student's thinking. Since you're just reading the problems, you can actually take notes right on that protocol. There's space kind of here for you to do that. Okay, so I hope this was helpful. I wish you all luck as you pursue this and do these interviews. It's actually pretty fun to see what the kids do. And if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out anytime. I will see y'all soon. Thanks.